I'm going to share my screen. Now, I cheat a little because I do this from Canva. So, Tidy Friday session number 1. I'm going to put everyone over here. And so if you have any questions, let me know. I might just kind of do the short presentation and then go into the, well, I've got a couple of questions for you too. So I'll check in on the chat box, but can you see the whole screen? I think when the video comes out, when the recording happens, there we go, do that. Okay, so Tidy Friday session number 1. I'm Airlie. Just for those of you who don't know me, I am an online organisation coach, a systems and scaling strategist. I am a certified consultant in Evernote. So it is a tool that I love and I use it to extract all the things from my brain. I am a mum. My girls are across the road at school. Systems and productivity and tools and all that kind of stuff. I worked out I could Google those things all day long and be very happy. I have lived overseas for quite a while, but I've been back in Adelaide is where I am now. Music, as you can tell, is a big part of my life. So I help women in business organise their time and leverage their time with systems and being organised so that they can spend more time working on their business instead of being stuck in the doing and the fiddling and all the other stuff, and scaling their business as well. I need to update that a bit. So you are in the right place. If you are drowning in digital overload, if you're worried about missing important information, especially in your inbox, if you've got loads of stuff coming into it, and there's client emails, there's newsletter subscriptions, and there's friend conversations, it can be overwhelming. If being organised and sorting out or decluttering your inbox has been on your list, but you haven't been able to get to it, it keeps getting put to the bottom of your list, and this overwhelm is starting to get in the way of you getting things done, nailing your business. So here's a question. Feel free to share. If you don't want to share, that is perfectly fine. You don't have to. There is no judgment here, but it's just an indication of knowing how many emails you have in your inbox and how it makes you feel. Some people don't get bothered by it, but other people do feel very overwhelmed by it. So put it in the chat box if you want to. I'm going to find the chat box. Is it gone? The chat box has disappeared. That's handy. Oh. Chat, where are you? Or put up your hand and just unmute yourself and tell me.
It's Suzanne, and I've got 1,219 unread emails, and it really irritates me.
It does. Okay. Irritated. Yes, that's a good one. Kim?
Well, I've got 349 in my inbox, but I have ones that go to folders automatically.
Oh, nice.
But does that count as if I haven't read them?
Up to you.
Otherwise, there's a lot.
Yes. Anyone else?
27.
27. Woohoo. That's pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. It makes me feel fabulous because I used to have about 3,000.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susie.
I still have 63,000 total in my Gmail.
You win.
6,000 unread emails.
No judgment. No judgment, Jen. That's awesome. You
did 10. So, progress.
Wow. Wow. And how does that make you feel? Like, you've come a long way, though.
I've come a long way. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I think I used to have close to 10,000 unread, and I've touched 4,000. And since I started 6 months ago, I think I was under 5,000. I was back up to 6. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Celia, I'm just going to mute you. All right. Okay, so it does make you feel irritated. It makes you feel overwhelmed. It's frustrating, especially when you can't find the things that you want or have things at your fingertips. Inbox madness, I know it well. When an inbox is overwhelming, it is difficult to focus. It's hard to think clearly. There's distractions all over the place. It just makes life a lot harder when you just want to go in, do a couple of emails and go out. There's just so many distractions. It increases anxiety. You have different emails on different devices perhaps, and that adds to the anxiety. Everything takes longer, you're easily distracted, said that already. And there's just not enough time to fix it, because who's got hours and hours and hours to go through everything? You never do. And this is, I think, why Tidy Friday came about, because chipping away at it, doing a little bit at a time, actually gets it done. So I have this picture here because this is my visualization of being overwhelmed, where you can't move left or right. There's just no space left. It's very overwhelming. So what does an organized inbox look like? This is what others have said about their organized inbox. I feel like I can do life again. I've had people send me screenshots of their inbox zero because they were so thrilled at clearing out their inboxes. It feels so clearer in my brain. It feels free, Debbie J says. She had 5 emails in her inbox and it took 2 minutes to do them. And that's a lot different to having 10,000 emails, and that, you know, it's like physical clutter. It does pull you down. So elements of an organized inbox are having your emails synced so that you don't have different emails on different devices, because that can be really confusing. I don't do inbox zero. I think it just adds more stress to people. So, you know, if I can have them on one screen or less, that's awesome. That's all I aim for. That's realistic for me. And the subscription emails that you have are those that you love to read. You can make quick and easy decisions about all the emails that come in, because you know that they've got a home or what you need to do with them, whether you don't want them. The time spent in your inbox is minimal. And you have folders if you want. You don't have to keep important ones, and no notifications. You don't need your inbox cluttered up with notifications. Okay, so in terms of what we're going to do today, the first task is deleting. So you'll get about 15 minutes, I think, if we can. And so I've got some tips for deleting. Feel free to delete if you haven't read or opened them in 3 to 6 months, because there's a chance you aren't going to and you won't have time. If you haven't had time in 3 to 6 months, you probably won't. You can't remember why you subscribed. If they are emails from a person, a real person, feel free to keep them. You don't have to delete them. This is more the subscription stuff. Delete if you're not sure what the person does, and it's not obvious and you can't remember who they are, or they're not relevant to you anymore. There's that thing of just in case versus just in time. And quite often we subscribe to things just in case you need it. But 99.5% of the time, that information is still available on the internet somewhere when you need it, just in time. So really working out whether you need something just in time or just in case is a really important distinction to make. I'm just going to mute a couple of people. There's just a little bit of feedback. Welcome, everyone. We're in just the presentation for your inbox and looking at task number 1, which is about deleting. So when you are deleting, you are actually making decisions. Move you over here. And you may not know it, but it's important to know why you want to keep an email, because if you know why you're keeping it, then you can actually decide where to put it. And I think the key to an organized inbox is to find a home for everything. So by going into your inbox, I think you'll know this well, you kind of look at all the things, and there's either too many of them and it's overwhelming, or you're deferring that decision making. You're deferring the decision making of what do I do with this. So I think that deferring is the thing that is the problem. So if you can decide, delete, keep, file, respond at the time, it will help you keep things more organized. Right, so this one is, if you feel like it, you can, creating folders and labels and file. I like to do this for conversations with people, real life people. I keep those conversations, but if it's just subscriptions, then I don't mind deleting or getting rid of them, because I know that it's a blog post generally, I can find that information. The thing about this one that makes it not so essential anymore is that the search function in a lot of inbox, like email programs, the search function is fairly incredible. So you can very quickly find what you need. So if you don't want to spend your time filing them, you don't have to. But it can help to make it feel more organized. Right, so I think we are done in terms of the training. So what I want to do is just see if I can give you a little, I'm going to stop sharing for now. Here's my chat box. I don't know why it disappeared. Thank you for those people who did respond. Shannon has 888, not too bad. It's better than 63,000. I think that just wins. Cracks me up. It's awesome. Okay, so right, so we're going all right for time. So your task now is to start deleting. Now, some tips for deleting is to sort by name, not by date. So I'm going to just get my email up so that you can see mine. I'm going to share mine. I'm going to share my my Gmail screen so that you can see, be nosy. There's nothing here that I am worried about. So I have my airlywildy.com inbox. It's black because of the new upgrade that I did on my Mac Mail. So I use Mac Mail. I have 4 inboxes. I have my airlywildy.com inbox, which is the top one that has 19 unread at the moment, just from some stuff I did yesterday. My Gmail one is where most of my subscriptions come in. And if you have just one email that does both of those things, it's perfectly fine. I don't think there's a problem. Hi, Andrea. We are into inbox. Just do your question there. So mine just evolved like this, but you can still have files and folders. So down here, I have folders here for stuff that I want to keep: tax invoices, PayPal stuff, admin. I have a list of all my clients in other subfolders here. Programs that I teach, so Tidy Friday and Step Up to Systems in here. When I have coaching or programs, marketing things, operation things like Thinkific stuff goes in here. What sections are we sorting inboxes into? It's up to you, Andrea. I'm just giving you a little demo. But the main focus of your time at the moment might be just deleting. So you can sort by from. All right, so if you sort by from, you can see all the A's. So if you've got, I don't need to keep the Amy Porterfield stuff. So I can just go get the top one. I can press shift and click on the bottom one and then delete if I want to delete all of those. So sorting by from means that I can get those in big chunks rather than doing individual emails one at a time. I can do the chunks. There's another big chunk, Calendly stuff. There's a lot of stuff in here. So yeah, I've probably cleaned it out a bit because of Tidy Friday. So your task is to do some deleting, sort by from, and just start deciding. Even if you don't have to file yet, you can come back to that if you join Tidy Friday, but just spend some time doing some decluttering. Okay, and you can have 10 to 15 minutes doing that. If you've got any questions, shout out, let me know, but have a go. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. How did everyone go? Did you manage to make any dents in your decluttering of your inbox? Hi, Fiona. Feel free to share any wins, or if you've discovered that you won a scarf and never received it, your losses. Andrea, are you okay? Julie's done. Yes, awesome. Good one, Susie. Yeah.
I'll share something. I discovered that I had a flight voucher from Virgin that I was like, yeah, I'll use that later. Yeah, I'll use it later. And I double checked it and it expires tomorrow. So I've put it to the top of my inbox, and this afternoon I will be seeing whether or not I can spend the money on that flight voucher.
Oh, that's a good catch. Well done.
Benefits of cleaning out the inbox.
Yes. 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 Who are you asking, Julie? Caroline or me? Abundance is flowing. Oh, Jan's about to delete 13,000 emails. Awesome. Yes. Woohoo. Press the button. Look at that smile. That's awesome. It's a good feeling. All right. So inbox is one of those things that, you know, any level of business that you're at, whether you're, you know, starting out or, you know, making millions of dollars, you kind of need to stay on top of your inbox. So making that easy by clearing out the clutter and then getting it to a point where it's easily manageable is what we're aiming for. So that you don't feel that overwhelmed when you use your inbox, and so that you can just, you know, feel comfortable using it and that it works for you, that all your emails are working correctly. Your subscriptions are, you know, the ones that you want, not the crap that you just keep scrolling past and not doing anything with. If you're not opening them, get rid of them. And, you know, this also just creates more awareness around what you are just skipping and what you need to actually go, oh, you know, even if you do a couple each day when you're looking at your inbox, right, delete that one. You are just building on your decluttering. And then whether you have a structure in terms of filing and folders, that's personal preference. It's up to you. But, you know, it helps me find things and it helps me clear out my inbox so I can do something with them. That's why I like it, but it's not essential. Just, you know, you need to feel comfortable with your own management. When it gets overwhelming, that makes everything hard. All right, so we're on to part 2. Isn't this fun? If you have any questions, let me know. But now we are going into files and folders. So who uses their downloads folder for everything? Anyone? Yeah, thanks, Julie. Caroline uses their downloads folder. It can be dangerous. I was doing a bit of research, Melios, but it wasn't helpful. Using your downloads folder for everything, I think, is not a recipe for disaster, but if you're going to save something, I think saving it to its home is a much better way to manage everything. And it can be a little trap just to put everything in your downloads folder, and you don't have to use your downloads folder at all. You can create new folders as you're saving something. I think it's easier to find things to have a structure, and this is quite often where that structure is missing with some people. So the process of decluttering your downloads folder, or one big folder where you put everything, or a couple of big folders that have stuff everywhere, and creating a home for things using folders and subfolders is the focus of this topic. So let's get into this. If you use your downloads folder, or if you have, that problem where you can't find the things that you need because there is no structure in terms of where you save things, how overwhelming is it? Give me a number out of 10. I'd be interested to know. Or if you've got any comments, shout out. Happy to chat. Overwhelming, 8. Yeah, desktop. Yes, downloads folder or desktop. Thanks, Celie. Yes, Fiona, it definitely is. We can go through that. Causes my anxiety at times, like when my laptop gets fried. Yes, exactly. It does make you feel like, because everything is, especially if it's in one place, you are risking a lot having everything in one place. Jen says desktop right now is feeling about an 8.5. Today is going to help tidy it up. Yes. Yeah, it can be very frustrating. It's like that when you've got stuff all over the place. Susie, she's my walking promo. She's a star student. It's, yeah, having everything in your downloads folder. So, I have had sessions with clients where, we are literally scrolling through files and files and files and files to find one picture, and it takes time. So I think it's important to be able to show you how we can fix that. So let's get into that. Yes, this is what other people have told me, what a disorganized downloads folder looks and feels like. There's thousands of files all in one folder. It takes up a lot of space on your computer. You do get easily distracted. Everything takes longer. You end up shuffling files from one device to another to fit everything in, is what some people have to do. High anxiety, yes, already mentioned that one. It lets you down, gets in the way, you can't trust it. Yes, because when lightning strikes, it's uncomfortable, and it's not ideal when you want to be the boss of your business. Elements of an organized filing system is where everything has a home and you know where to find it. You can put your fingers on it all the time. You don't have duplications. I think that was one of the things I added in the Tidy Friday presentation that we did in this month, a couple of months ago, how to search for duplications. is an important thing to do. Quickly access anything you need. Have folders and subfolders with names that are meaningful to you so that you know what's in there. Have naming conventions, such as if you have versions of something or just similar names. So you have file name and date. The date is always in the same place. The year is always at the end. You use a 01, 02 rather than 12, because then when you get to 12, it gets all messed up. So those kinds of things can trip you up. So being consistent in that kind of stuff is important. Having them backed up, having a combination of online and cloud storage, having consistent folder names throughout your system. That one is not necessarily essential. It's something I've been playing with that's kind of fun. Where are we? Okay. So, tips to stay organized. Don't use your downloads folder. It's not very often that I say don't do something, but I really don't think it's worth using your downloads folder. It reduce the double handling, save it in the right place the first time. Demo in Chrome, right? Tip number 2, it's like building your house. Everything needs a home. It's like, when you're designing your storage for your kitchen or for your walk-in wardrobe, you need to find a home for everything and create a home so that you can put it there when you're not using it. Otherwise, it ends up looking like my daughter's bedroom floor. Working out what needs to be on the cloud, what you need to share with other people, people in your team or clients or colleagues or family, and what needs to be stuff that you just keep to yourself, for yourself. So, demo in Chrome. So, if I have something, if I want to save as, just let me know that you can see my save as folder. Can you see my save as folder?
Yep, I can see it.
Cool. Thanks, Caroline. So there is always, so quite often you get you might get a window that's quite small, but you will always get these 2 little arrows up and down where you can select exactly where you want to put it. And your downloads folder will be an option, but you can always select other or create new folder. So you can, this is that. You might get this, and it might automatically go to your downloads folder or regular recent places. Okay, if you don't want that, you can click here, make it bigger, and select exactly where you want to put it. So take charge of this. I think this is really important. Don't let it default to the same place for everything, because everything doesn't need to be in the same place. This is where you need to create some structure, and quite often this is a bit that's missing. So this is my business folder. I have this in my Google Drive because this is a lot of stuff that I share. So I have admin planning stuff, I have content, I have Facebook, a folder for Facebook. This is a shared folder. So I'm not afraid to create lots of different subfolders. So I have a folder for all these other things. So my Facebook page, I have more folders. So in here I can find, it's a bad example. So I'm in the Save As section, but you can see I can pretty much put my hand on any particular image that I want, because I know exactly where it is, because I've got a folder for it. And when I'm setting up my Facebook scheduling for my VA, I can say, image number 2 in client care tips from my Facebook page. Here's the text. It goes with image number 2, schedule it for 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. So she can just go here and find it. It's really easy for her to find. So having those clear names, having the subfolders does make it really easy. So in my business, I have admin and planning, coaching, content. Facebook is an extra one in itself because it's so big. Marketing stuff, process. So this is like my operations manual. Programs that I run and deliver. So course notes and things like that could go in here. Research is probably the stuff that, you know, the opt-ins you download from other people. Social media, empty, because I've got the Facebook one. And website, this is like my WordPress stuff. I also have an images folder here. So I have, you know, out of all the images, this is one of the bigger areas. Out of all the images that we use in our business, there's the bio photos, there's blog images, there's images for different marketing things that you do, there's images for your email marketing. So these are just all my headers on my email thing as I've gone along and changed them. Images, you know, Pinterest posts are different sizes, Tomo posts, Thinkific, all the things. And then, you know, so having the bigger key folders and subfolders under that so that it makes it easier to see things is really important. So these are images for my website, and then other opt-ins, things like that. So it's easier. This one here, new branding, this is one that for me needs a bit of decluttering because look, there's a lot of stuff in here and it needs to be organized and sorted again because it's getting harder to find things. So you can also, in your structure, so I have Google Drive. This is where we were before. But I have in my Early Realty file, Facebook. I've got my Facebook page folder. So I've dragged that over to my favorites because that's one that I use all the time. So even though it's on my Google Drive and it's a shared folder, I can still have it in my favorites, and it shows up anywhere. So I have my Dropbox there and my Google Drive. This is a Google Drive folder. This is a Google Drive folder. This is a Google Drive folder. On my desktop is where I keep family photos, really. Not much else. Downloads. Not much. Okay, because everything else has a home. Right, so that's how you can specify where you want to save something. Creating a folder structure. So here's some key folders. If you're missing some of these folders or subfolders, this might help you. This might be the missing key to help you work out what's missing or how to sort through some of the, you'll know, because everyone is different, which areas need a bit more organization than others. Your marketing stuff might be fine, but your social media pictures might need a bit more structure. These are some suggestions. They're just suggestions. Everyone's business is going to be different. This is an example. So of where consistency is helpful. It's a little bit blurry, but over here is my Google Drive. So you can see the names, you've seen them. This is my Evernote. So they're all very similar. This is my inbox. Again, all very similar. So that there are still then less places to put everything. I know what I put into Evernote, but if it's an email, if it's something to do with admin and planning, which is generally tax or tax invoices or different stuff, there's financial stuff in there, there are really only 3 different places that I would go to find it or to save it. So that just helps make things a bit simpler. It's not essential having consistency all the way over this, but it does, just having a bit of structure helps. There's my Facebook folders and subfolders. Makes life really easy when I know exactly where to put things. Rather than having a whole list of all of these and having to sort through them all, you can see the difference. So, cloud storage. I mean, this is more about your kind of future planning, but anything that needs to be shared with your team I recommend going on the cloud. So that will be documents, images, videos, contracts, perhaps. Anything that needs to be shared with your clients, PDFs, other folders, if you have a folder for your clients that you share with them, those kinds of things. And anything that you want accessible on multiple devices can all go on the cloud. So I have the top two would be my Google Drive, but I put Dropbox. Dropbox is mostly for my videos, so I keep them separate. So I don't have some videos on Google Drive and some videos on my hard drive and some videos on Dropbox. It's just all in one place, so I know where they are. Hard drive storage. I think it's important to include external hard drives for backups. In the research that I have done for Tidy Friday and the presentation that I did, the bigger presentation that I did for this, I think they basically say you need backups online and hard drive storage, external hard drives. External hard drives will die eventually, so you need to have them, but have a backup on the cloud, and vice versa. You have a backup on the cloud, but you also need a hard drive. So two, essentially, for important things like photos, I think is important. All right, so find a folder and start to sort by file type if you want. Delete anything not required and file into groups or create some folders. Don't observe, well, you can observe what you have in there, but it's not necessarily important for today. But create some groups, some folders, create and do some sorting. Time to start taking control of where you put things. All right. Is everyone feeling okay? Do you have any questions? Are you just ready to get into it? Let's do it. Yes. Let's do it. Okay. Go for it. Recording. Yes, thank you. Okay, we're on to the next one. Next one, not so intensive, I don't think. It's about notes and notebooks. How do you know if it's stored anywhere else on my computer? Well, there is some they're not programs. They're I suppose they're like programs, Andrea, that you can put onto your computer that will find duplicates. I have done some of that with the Tidy Friday, the paid version of Tidy Friday, the membership. We go into some of that, not in too much detail. You can Google it. It's basically searching for duplicates. So if you Google that, you can find that. You can join Tidy Friday. So notebooks, notes, sticky notes, to-do lists on the back of envelopes. I had a client we were in this discovery call, and she was saying, I'm just disorganized, I'm all over the place. And she picks up this envelope. See, I've got to-do lists all over the back of the envelope. She opens the envelope. Oh, here's a bill. She didn't know she had stuff everywhere. And it just makes life harder when things, again, I think there are easy ways to do that. I used to have sticky note shame. I used to have piles of sticky notes. Well done, Fiona. That's awesome. Because, sticky notes were awesome, but they would then come off, or they'd get, their ends would curl up. You just need to Google it, Andrea, for your computer. I haven't used one. You need to Google that. So sticky notes, and the fact that you'd have amazing ideas. And yes, the writing process is really important. Like, I love writing with a pen. It helps me process, it helps me think, it helps me be creative. So I'm not saying don't do that and that everything has to go on the screen, but there's a place for everything. And I think using tools better, so that you aren't using a million notebooks or having all your ideas in a notebook, and then you get to the end of the notebook, or you're at the bottom, the sticky note that you need is at the bottom of the pile and you're not seeing it anymore. I think there are ways to make that easier. I have a book called a Rocket Book, which is awesome. Yes, they do get faded. So my Rocket Book is a 50-page book that has a QR code on it. I don't know if you can see this. And it also has icons at the bottom of every page. And at the front of the book, I can specify that for the rocket icon, if I scan that page, it will go straight to my email. If I scan the next icon, which is a diamond, and I just have to do a little tag at the bottom, it will actually go to a certain notebook in my Evernote. I can send things to folders in Google Drive. I can send things to my Early Wildy Gmail or my Gmail. Yeah, so I've got one that goes product development. I've got one, so I just have to do a little squiggle on the bottom, and I just use the friction pens that you get from Google and the erasable texters, and and you just wipe it off with a cloth. So all the scribble that I do, because a lot of the stuff I do is scribble. Some stuff I need to keep, some stuff is just to get it out of my head, and then I've done it, or to-do lists, bit of planning for the, what am I going to do in these next things, and I can just wipe it off. It's a Rocket Book. So this one, there's some really weird ones. This one cost, I don't know, $60 or $70. Yeah, just Rocket Book, rocketbook.com, I think. And they send you a packet of pens if you want to upgrade. So I got 10 of, like, you get all different colors and pens and pink ones, and I know I bought the pink ones, but just from Officeworks. But it means that I'm not using my notebooks as much. Yes, I still journal, I still write to-do lists, all those things. Yes. That's a great present for people, actually. And that really helps me. So that's one thing. But I think just being aware, yes, you do, Andrea, being aware of what you're writing and what notes you're writing, and where all this information is important. Again, it's taking charge of the information, so that you're not a passive information thing, and information just goes out into the same place and it just goes. Take charge of it. So in this presentation, it's not all about Rocket Book, I can tell you that. Where are we? Here's what we think about notebooks. Notebookaholic. Like, people love notebooks. I love keeping things tidy. So yes, they are essential. Some people don't use notebooks because they have so many. It's impossible to keep track of everything. But then that person also said, so instead of having ideas that I can't find, I have ideas that I can't find in hundreds of loose sheets of A4 paper piled up in a cupboard. That we have, as entrepreneurs, we're amazingly creative, but we need to have someplace to put those ideas so that we don't lose them all over the shop, always losing the notes I've written. I have stuff everywhere. It's difficult to go back and find it at a later date. So I used to have that problem, have lots of notes, and they were awesome ideas, but I'd lose them 2 notebooks ago. So, oh, where's that note that I wrote about this thing? Couldn't find it. So there's a pile of my notebooks. It's a pretty good pile. Question time. I didn't write down what my question was. Do you have lots of notebooks? Can you relate to some of those things that people were saying? Is that a common thing? Yes, Caroline can relate. So many notebooks. And if they have a purpose, like journaling, things like that, you know, I think that's fine. It becomes just being more aware. You've got notebook shame and sticky note shame, Suzanne. Full of everything altogether, yes. And I don't know, does that work for you, Caroline? Does it bother you? Are you happy with that? Or is it hard to manage everything? Yeah, it does get tricky. I like notebooks. I like the process of writing. Yes, but it can, when we've got so much to get out of us, it becomes an issue. Meliors has a bullet journal. Awesome. Oh, you're writing too quickly. Indexed and tabbed and color coded. Yeah, well, if you've got all those things, Meliors, that is awesome. Love it. Jen's narrowed it down. Journal notebooks. Yeah, I got sick of carrying them around with me and then having the wrong one when I needed a different one and all that kind of stuff too. Yes, we'll get to that, Andrea. I love writing, but I hate the way I'm managing my notes. Yes, perfect, Caroline. I'm the same. So it's like all information. It does have to be managed and having a place for it so that we can access all of this amazing stuff that we're creating. So having organised ideas is important because why is it not moving? Going backwards. Genius ideas and being productive is an awesome combination. If you've just got genius ideas and they're going into your notebook and getting lost there, it's a waste of those amazing ideas. So I do think it's important to manage them. So elements of organised ideas and notes, and it's not just the big ideas, it's the hex codes and your Zoom link and all those tiny little bits and pieces that you just write that on a sticky note. But if you had them all in one reference note, might make life a bit easier. You know, and if you've got similar tiny bits of information, they can all be put onto the little bits of information note. You know, just thinking more effectively about what you have and the type of note they are can be helpful. So elements of organised ideas and notes where you can search for things. Similar notes can be put together rather than have all your brain stuff just flowing in pages and pages. You know, I mean, brain stuff in the best possible light. Being able to quickly access anything you need on any device is always handy. Reducing the number of places that it is so that you can find it easily. Grouping the information using meaningful names, yes. Having space to be creative. I think when you have this organised, it does allow you to be creative with it, and it takes the overwhelm out of it, and that creates more space in itself. Being conscious that about what notes you are making as you do it. So, you know, I got to the point where every time I pick up a pen to write a note or a sticky note, it's like, what am I going to do? Just that little bit of mindfulness about what am I going to write? Do I need to write this on a sticky note, or could I put it somewhere else that's a better home for it? So we're going to identify what's going on into your notebooks, if there are any double ups. I wrote this last time, so maybe this part isn't as relevant. Discover options for being creative and organised. So in my last notebook, I went through and wrote down all the things that were in it. And this is it. You can see There's a whole lot of stuff there. Some useful, some not useful. But there's a lot of different stuff. All, you know, needed to be extracted from my brain. That's a lot of stuff in my brain. But having all that stuff accessible online, searchable, is a good idea. Right. How do we manage this? Come on. I do recommend Evernote, if anyone guessed that. It's a second brain that you can trust. Even if you're not organised in Evernote, the search function is ridiculously powerful. So as well as sorting through notes, you can tag notes. It will search your scribble for words if you have the paid version. You can access it on any device. You can upload using an app called Scannable, which will link to your Evernote, so you can file as you go. Rocketbook, I can file as I go. So I can say, yes, scan this. Can you put it in this notebook, please? So I can attach anything. I can record my voice. I can paste anything. I can free write my blogs. I can share notes with people. I can share, what else? Notebooks with people. So so do you want to see my Evernote? Let's see. All right. This is my Evernote. I am just going to do that so I can still see your chat. Is there a free version of Evernote? There certainly is. You don't have to have the paid version of Evernote at all. So I use Evernote, again, speed, like my brain goes quickly. I need things to go quickly. So I do not use the online version of Evernote because you can have it in your Chrome as a tab. I think this is quicker. All right, because I can just click here and it will do it straight away rather than having to load a page each time. So this is my Evernote. I have shortcuts here. So the coding tips, that's where I was before. This is it's called coding tips because that's where it originally started. Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks for coming. So this has all the tiny little bits of information that I need. Like, so I can copy this if I'm increasing my, thing on my website. You know what I mean? The hex colors that I need for various people. Adelaide is half an hour in front of Brisbane. Just little bits and pieces that I need to keep, but I don't want to have a sticky note for. I also, have just, you can have 10,000 tags, so you can have more notes than you know what to do with. Here's a storage master of just a note of Dropbox, videos, hard drive, backup photos and my music and the photos, Google Drive, all those things. That's what I said. So, just those little bits of information can go in there. But if I do a search for Scannable, can also find, look, here's something from a notebook that is my scribble, but I've got it here. It's all here. So, and I can put this, these are ones that I need to file, but I can put them into, I can change the name of it by saying, I don't know what that is. It's been a long time since I did that. But I can add a tag, so I can say product development, something like that. So it's in my marketing notes at the moment. So you can see it doesn't, even if I do that writing process in my notebook with my pen, I can send it to Evernote and know that I can still find it. So in here, these are my note. Oh, These are my notebooks. Can you see these? Except for product development, there's consistency again with what I call my main ones, so that I can then, you know, have similar main notebooks. So notes, you can start a note. Don't know. Can you see that new note, or did it pop out? I think it popped out. You can see it? Okay, so I can type straight into here. I can choose a template if I want and just start. People in who follow Tash know what this is. I can change the font, all those kind of formatting things. I can add checkboxes. I can separate things. I can press record and record my voice, and I can, you know, if I'm walking along and I've got my phone, I can actually even do voice to text. So in my phone, if I've got Evernote, I can record this and it will convert it to text, but I can just press stop, and now I've got a WAV file of me speaking. I can add a table. I can attach things. I can share. I can save this as a template. I can add a reminder. Yeah, there's so many things. Julie, you're a client. I can give you some other stuff. Don't worry. There's so many things you can do with this that make this easier. So this is a note. So you can type straight in, or you can paste. You can clip from the web using the web clipper. But then you can have a notebook. So if I click on notebooks, these are all my notebooks. This is that list that you saw before, but say in a content stack, this is my blog. So I write a lot of my blogs in here. I can pick up all these notebooks and drop and drag them somewhere else. So there's notes, there's notebooks, and then if I drop one notebook on top of another notebook, it creates a stack. So if I go back here, these are all stacks of notebooks. So the content stack has blogs. So these are all the blogs templates that I've got. So I write them in here for some reason. Because it's all in one place, because it's easier to search here than it is to search Google Drive. So I use this for, down here's the Wildy family stack. So, you know, when you pull out, Evernote is awesome, Jen. You know, when you pull out recipes when you find at the doctor's in the magazine, and you think, I'll just steal this and no one will know, and you quietly rip it out so that the receptionist doesn't hear. And you've got all these little, you know, ripped out pieces of paper. I scan them and put them into Evernote. So I can do a little search here. This is my favorite one. Chicken. All right, so these are, and you can see that it is searching the PDF. Give me a second, Antonia. So you saw how quick that was. So these are all the things that have chicken in them, and it is searching. This is searching a PDF. Because I've tagged it chicken as well. So the internet and Chrome would not search that quickly. So it's a powerful meal planner if you want to have it as a meal planner. But you can just put everything in here. If you click from the internet, I have this elephant here. Here's the web clipper. So if I see a blog that I like, I can, and this is where having everything in one place makes a big difference. So if there's research that I like or want to keep, I can email from my inbox to Evernote so that everything is in one place. So I like this one, right? I'll click on my web clipper. You can just Google Evernote web clipper and move everyone over here. So I can click the article, which is the whole thing. Just the simplified article takes out all the ads. The full page, the whole lot, the bookmark, it will clip that, or the screenshot where I can move my mouse to say I'll just have this part. I can then specify which notebook I want it in. Okay, so productivity is where I would put it. We worked that out already. And I can add a tag here. Oh, there you go, Melios. So using, and this will send it straight there. And it will be in my Evernote. So the web clipper is a really handy thing to have. Right, so to answer your question, Antonia, let's see. Evernote, I have. These prices are not up to date. This was probably a couple of years ago. On the basic version, you can click from anywhere on the web, you can share things, you can sync across your phone. It might only be one device. The next one I think might be $50 now. The premium is probably closer to 80, not 800. So you can also access your notes when you're offline. You can save emails, so you get an email, an Evernote email. You can be more secure if you like to. You get 10 gig to upload each month. It will search in the Office docs. You can turn it into presentations, scan things. You can annotate, so you can type over PDFs that you have in there. So you can see how Evernote, combined with your ideas, combined with all the little bits and pieces, you can just have this open all the time and access all the things you need to in one place because it has a home. And I use, just to be really clear, I know this part gets confusing for people, I use this for my research and keeping things so that they're not in my brain. So that's different to planning. You can use Evernote to plan things and set times and dates and stuff, but I use Asana for that kind of thing. But Evernote is where I keep all my notes and just stuff I don't want to lose. I've got research topics, so you know, all sorts of different things. Absolutely, you can, Antonia. I just have to press share and I can send it to you. I can share it as a link, or if you don't have Evernote, you can. They will get the link as a something they can put in their Google Drive, Chrome, I mean, and I won't do that at the moment, Antonia, because I just need to finish this because I'm just conscious of time. But there's lots of things that you can do to stay organised and keep everything in one place. So that's a very, very, very basic overview of Evernote. Jen uses it to take notes during webinars. She screenshots things and you can write on top of the photo that you've put in Evernote. So it's very powerful. Let me go back to, right. Sorry, I will say, I do need to finish this. So the number one foundation for getting organised is to have a home for everything, because it's that decision deferral thing. It just goes and wherever, but it piles up with all the other things. So having a home for things is important. You can download Scannable, and I do recommend you take some time to explore Evernote if that's something that you're interested in. The second foundation for being organised is to reduce the number of places that information is kept, or just make conscious decision about what goes where, so that you don't have multiple things in multiple places, because that just adds to the overwhelm in your brain. We don't really have time, and well, there's no real task. If you want to ask me more questions about Evernote, you can. So maybe I will use this time to tell you about Tidy Friday. So if you would like an awesome combo of having genius ideas and productivity and space, support and how-to for all of this stuff, not just here's Evernote, go and use it. How do you actually use it? What do you put in there? Where does it go? How do you organize it? What else can I do with it? Plus the accountability of showing up every week and getting things done, getting your inbox organized, getting your photos organized, getting your social media images organized, all of those things, plus doing it with other people with some cool music, then Tidy Friday is what we do. Yes. I don't know. Sorry. So Tidy Friday is where we work. We come every Friday. So the first week of every month we have a theme. So the first month we start, we would do inbox. And so I would give you some more detailed training in week 1. Week 2 we'd have Q&A and some co-working. So we put some music on, we have a chat, and you go and do some decluttering, do some filing, do some sorting. Week 3, same again. Week 4, if there's more questions that have come up that we need to share with everyone, I'll do some more advanced presentations, and we plan what we want to do in the next thing and celebrate how many thousands of emails we've deleted. So that's the structure of Tidy Friday. So it's $27 a month, or $135 for 6 months, which is 1 month for free. And you get this training every month. It's in Thinkific, so you can access it anytime you need. So I will send you the link for all of that, because I don't know, if you're like me, you've got brain strain on a Friday afternoon. Julie's keen to learn how to incorporate Evernote with Asana. Yes, Evernote and Asana is an interesting combo. It's just about being clear with what you want to put where, making those decisions and going, this is for this and this is for this. Susie says, best training she's done in decades, and she's coming back for another 6 months. Yes, thank you, Susie. You need to just, I reckon, put your screen down a bit lower so that or pull your dress up so that we can see. No, we couldn't see anything. It was very, very, you couldn't see anything, but we couldn't see your dress either. So yeah, hilarious. So does anyone have any questions? So wrong weather, definitely, yes. If you have questions, feel free to ask me. We've got a little bit of time. We covered a lot today, so don't worry if you are feeling overwhelmed. The idea of Tidy Friday is we just chip away at it and make, little bits of progress that actually mean that you're not in the same place next year as you are now. You've actually made progress. So that's an important distinction. But if you have any questions, hit me with them. Otherwise, feel free to go and grab a drink. I will say Monday. I have another meeting after this. So yes. Do you have a summary sheet that covers all the main headings? Do you mean for your the structure of your not inbox? I'm losing my words. Do you mean the folder names for your filing system, Andrea? Thank you, Jen. Thanks for coming. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thanks you guys for staying longer. Then come to Tidy Friday, Andrea. Some of the things that, I did, those headings like admin, marketing, social media, website, you know your business the best, so it has to work for you, but just have a select few so that everything can trickle down from there. Don't have a million folders covering your desktop, just have 10, and then everything is hidden under there like trees. Oh, have a nice swim. Thank you, Susie.
I was taking a photo of my downloads folder and then trying to work out how I could share it with you. But it didn't work very well. So let me just say that my downloads folder, previous to you talking about this file management, had about 3 or 4 whole pages of things. It now has 5 items and all of them are installers.
Whoa.
That I don't know where else to put. So
that's fab, Caroline. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome result in, it was less than 15 minutes.
Oh, no, I did it in the background because I'm highly auditory. I can listen to your whole Evernote
and do it. Yeah.
And do it in the background. So,
well done.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Fun wins.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally. Yeah, and even if you don't, thank you, Natasha, even if you don't join Tidy Friday, just I think having today shows you just how much you can do in a 15-minute little session. So, the end of the day.
Being able to do, I often find that being able to do the kind of the tidying, the decluttering, the administrative, it doesn't take much brain power, but it takes just enough brain power to be annoying kind of things are so good to do with a whole bunch of other people who are all doing similar tasks at the same time. So I think it's not just the doing 15-minute chunks on your own, but doing it together with people is friggin' fantastic.
Yeah, it kind of never occurred to me until a conversation with Jen, and she said, God, I'd buy that. I'd do that. And it works. It's awesome. And we have such a nice time. So yes, good work, Julie. Thank you, Andrea. Glad it's helped. Thank you, Celie. Glad that you're feeling good about your desktop and inbox. Yes, go and have lunch. Thank you, everyone. And let's go for it, Kim. Unless you have any other questions. Well done, everyone. Thank you for staying the long haul. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I'll stop recording.